Hi, welcome. My name is Dale McCluskey, and on this video series I'm going to be discussing the issue of structure, exactly what does that represent, and how to create the structure to put in place so that we can advance the role changing process while at the same time reducing the risk for bad outcomes. So one of the things with a structure is, again, when I talk about bad outcomes, what I mean by bad outcomes is usually, the most obvious bad outcome that we think about, and this may be the exact reason why you're seeking out help or you're seeking to understand more about behavior, is aggression. So, once a dog gets bitten and once that's in their toolbox, we need to put a structure in place so that we can prevent a bad incident from happening again. So again, aggression is one of the main issues with structure. And when I talk about structure, what I'm referring to is as kind of like the pillar of the structure, putting the structure in place as a system, is using the crate. So when you're looking at using a crate, I'm going to show you here in a second, the type of crate that I'll use. But what the crate does is it's meant to control and rein in the dogs, shrink their world temporarily while we're undertaking and advancing the role-changing process. So, when I use a crate, again, it's a temporary measure. It's something that comes for a while and then goes away after a while. So, when you think about the crate too, it's not, although originally it's something that a lot of dog owners have a very negative view of because they think isolation and punishment. That's not how it's used, and you have to. And the other issue is this whole issue about punishment or a negative view is a dog that's holding a certain level of power is not going to like being in the crate because it represents control. And that's the relational part of this, where dogs, I show very clearly, dogs connect dots, okay? They connect relational dots. So for example, if a dog perceives that through how you're connecting and the type of bond that you've established with your dog, if it's based on more weakness and emotion, and therefore the dog has the power role in the relationship, and then you're trying to put them into a crate to control them, that's a conflict in their mind. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Okay, they're going to challenge that because they're going to say, well, this doesn't make sense. Okay, they're trying to put this level of control over me, but at the same time they're telling me that that I need to be the leader. So that's why you'll see that type of contrast between the crate, the response with the crate, and the and what's happening at that level. So, but the problem with that is, and that's why a lot of dog owners will give up on using the crate, is because it challenges their own psychology. Okay, they don't want to use it because that very reason is they love their dog and they have this emotional. So what it is, it's just like kind of like bad computer code. Okay, it's really important to get out of that loop and understand that there's more happening here than meets the eye. In fact, what nature shows us, the information we're given, will give us, provide a context, a relational context as to where we need to move. So here, let me show you the crate briefly, type of crate I use. What I use here, you'll see, it's a wire mesh crate. The one on top here is more of a contained type crate, it's a smaller crate. But, I recommend the wire mesh crate. It has the door here that opens and closes and all that, and it can be, secured. But the wire mesh crate, it's breathable, easier to clean, and it comes in many sizes. So just want to give you a glimpse of that when I'm talking about the crate, what exactly I'm referring to. And so yeah, the crate, again, that's part of our structure. So it's like, you have to look at the crate as just a tool. Again, it's there for a while, it goes away. But I'm going to show you here, when we use the crate, I'm going to draw a little bit on the board here for you, just so you can have a visual to go by. When I'm using the crate, I'm I'm putting it in, and I'm going to draw, so I'm going to draw here. I'm putting it within my structure. I'm going to side here, so you can see. But you can imagine this is your home environment, okay? You got your door, come into the house, divide it off into various rooms, okay? Okay, this could be a bedroom here, kitchen area here, living type area here, okay? And basically, when you're looking at using the crate, and this is part of the methodology involved with structure, using the crate within our structure, so right away, again, we're controlling bad outcomes. What we're doing here is we're shrinking our dog's world, okay? It's just like getting in the airspace of a rebellious teenager that's out of control and starting to get involved with, what they're doing, okay? They're going to, again, pick up, not like it, but that's the whole point here, is to get in the airspace and start to, make a difference. So what we're doing here through this process is we're targeting the dog's decision-making process. So the crate itself, if you want to pick an area, if you'll ask me what area is the best area to use for the crate, what I'll do is I'll put the crate, within, say, the living room area, but at the same time, I want to be able to control my dog's access to area, okay, which means that dogs that are holding power, you'll see them, they'll want to hang out in areas where it kind of pushes the boundaries, okay, where they can see out towards the street, other dogs, area, doorways, okay, so this is where it's an associations crate where they can express power onto those that are coming into entryway areas. So what we want to do is, again, the idea here is we were pushing them back, okay, this crate is meant to rein in and bring them into a state where they're going to start to turn them into a follower, okay? Because again, we don't want them hanging around doorways, window areas, on beds, other areas, because again, once we get a three-dimensional view of the relationship, once we really understand, say, hey, my dog think that they're the leader, they're expressing power, okay, you need to bring them into, back into control here so that we can start to make a difference, okay, start to tackle the real problem, which is relational. So here you put the crate within what you want to do is put your crate, within the, say, living room area. You can have, if you have more than one dog, you're going to have more than one crate, okay, because what the issue here is divide and conquer, okay. The issue with more than one dog is one will be more dominant than the other one, but what will happen is the relationship will start to become dysfunctional, so to speak, because one's actually being empowered to the other dog. It's kind of like the big brother syndrome, okay, and the little brother, where it makes that guy feel more powerful. Well, that's what happens when you have more than one dog, and they gain power in the relationship with how they perceive, how they're connecting with the human. They'll start to, but you will have more than one, you'll have one dog that's more powerful. Again, the issue here is divide and conquer. So you don't want them hanging around with each other for a few weeks. You want to totally, sever that relationship that way until you become the pivoting point in the relationship, until they start to perceive you as leader. So it's all about reining them back in. And again, when you put the crate in this area, what I'm going to do at the same time is block their access to other areas of the house. Okay, because this is part of the housebreaking issue too. That's why dogs, once they go out of sight, out of line of sight, it's kind of like, sand rather than cement. Everything gets washed out, and the dog will start to express power by peeing inside the house in certain areas, okay? What we want to do, because the housebreaking issue is a power problem, so we're going to rein that in. So we're going to block, you use baby gates, you can shut doorways, but you want to make it so that, I'm going to keep my dog within a certain area, and so what happens here is they don't have access for a period of time to other areas of the home. But don't get me wrong, I'm still going to move them into other areas of the home. I'll be with them though, and I'll be, using the techniques that, I discuss in my videos, the push-pull technique, using the sit position. I'm creating, what you're going to focus on is creating these follower moments, okay, in around all areas of the house, okay, multiple areas of the house,
But then, you know, I'm not just going to let my dog just kind of go and free range everywhere. I'm going to re-crate them. Now, the whole crating issue too is people ask, well, Dale, how long do I crate my dog? What I suggest is you crate your dog for, it'd be like, say, for half an hour or an hour, and in and out. But when the dog, so for example, if you're busy doing something, again, you want your dog hanging around doorways and stuff, you know, I'll crate them, okay? And then when they come out, I have the time to be at them so that I'm able to target their decision making. So I'll just randomly walk over to them when they look fine, okay? Because the issue is that they're not fine. It's like the rebellious teenagers, they're not fine. Now I'm going to get in their airspace by just taking a hold of their collar calmly, walk over to them calmly, push them into the sit position. I'm going to put some influence over their mind. I flex that collar a little bit till their head turns into, you feel like a line coming through you. And I do that for maybe 10-15 seconds and then let them go. But I'm going to do that multiple times all over this area. And then the other thing is to get them used to the crate, I'm going to be doing it in and around the crate as well. Okay? Because again, you know, when your dog's going a certain level of power, you start to use the crate. They may not be so accepting of wanting to go in there, but again, you're going to start to move them in. Now, you know, you want to work towards this. I know this can be difficult when you first started, but the whole idea here is to start to get them in that crate. But when you put them in the crate, you don't want them going in by themselves either. Okay, that's the other issue. Sometimes you say, oh, they're going on their own. No, they're going in with a crown on their head, okay, because it's who's making the decisions here. They actually don't want, you know, dogs aren't stupid. Okay, they know when you get both feet in their pond, so to speak. That's why it's very important to push. Okay, or you be the one, you have to lead them in. There has to be a level of awareness. It's just like a wave cresting another wave, okay, where the dog is fully aware that I'm the one that is directing, okay? And because then what you'll see is you see them kicking up, because you see that level of not liking. Well, there's your context. Okay, a balanced dog totally accepts whatever level of influence I'm putting over them, as long as it's coming through the right relational connection. Of course, any dog you go over and just, you know, try to beat them down, I mean, you're going to get bit. But here, it's understanding the relational part of this, that this is a parent-child relationship where you have to be aligned with the right parental, you know, style. So, and the response, you know, how the dog responds to it gives you the insight. Okay, that tells you where you're standing in nature. So again, you want to be putting moments on your dog in and around this crate area, and then move them into the area, into the crate, close the door, and start to work them that way. When they come out, again, multiple moments everywhere, and then you want to keep the structure in place, but it's just the same thing. Get two dogs, divide and conquer, okay? But that's not to say that they aren't out in my area a lot, but if they're out in my area, I'm going to be creating maybe 15-20 moments within that. Could be an hour, 2 hours. I'm going to be randomly all over them. So it's kind of like, what is kind of like electricity in the air, okay? They have to feel it, okay? There has to be, you know, there has to be a real deal feeling here. And that's the other thing too, is understand this whole thing about structure is it's relational, so the dogs connect that way. So if you're just putting up, you know, walls and boundaries and just going through the motions of the methodology, and you're not changing from the inside out, the dog knows that. So the dog knows whether you're actually, through connection to your personality, if you're actually becoming the stronger parent or not. So this whole thing about, that's why you have to be pushing. That's why you have to be getting in their airspace this way, because it moves the tachometer of your mind over and the dog feels that. The other tool you want to think about using is, here's a muzzle. Okay, if you're starting to do this methodology, especially start to get your feet in your dog's pond, so to speak, and they're offering up challenge, you might want to be using a muzzle, okay, for a period of time, so that you're not going to be worried about the dog challenging at a certain level where you're going to get bit, okay? Because don't be fooled, dogs can hold an incredible amount of power, and even though your dog hasn't bitten before, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Because again, this is different than using other methodologies, because, you know, here it's about truly bringing to the surface the real issue. Okay, so nothing's hidden. Okay, so that, you know, nature gives you a glimpse into, you know, when a dog is challenging a certain point in certain interactions, there's the truth of it.
Okay, all this thing with using treats and clickers and all this stuff, I'll talk about that in my other videos, but there's a lot of deception involved when it comes to nature. I mean, things aren't always as they appear. And so to seek the truth of something, you have to be willing to let the walls fall and really see it the way it is. Okay, and then we know exactly where we're at, so that we know how to get to where we need to go. So anyway, structure, really think about it. It's meant to control bad outcomes. It's meant to advance the role changing process. The period of time the structure stays in place is determined by how much power the dog's holding, and then there's certain benchmarks as we go along after, say, 2 or 3 weeks. You know, I'm testing, I'm seeing how the dog is responding to me leading them, and even the housebreaking issues, and how the dog is, trying to get around me and objectifying to a certain level. You have to get a sense of that. And so you want to keep the structure in place until the time comes when you start to the world starts to expand again, but within the context of the relational role, of the follower role. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope this is informative. Hope you have a great day.